May I now request President FKCCI Shri K. Ravi to kindly escort our guests of the evening to the dais. I also request Senior Vice President-elect Shri C.R. Janardana and our immediate past President Shri M.C. Dinesh to kindly accompany our guests to the dais, please. President FKCCI Shri K. Ravi to present the bouquet to our chief guest Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda, Honorable Member of Parliament in Rajya Sabha. I request sir to please present the bouquet to our guest of honor Shri Bharat Shivappa, Director, Deloitte Shared Services India Limited. I request sir to please present the bouquet to our guest of honor Shri S. Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Boruka Power Corporations Limited. Please welcome our dignitaries with a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I would now request Vani ma'am to please come on to the dais for the invocation prayer. Please ma'am. Invocation. I would now request President Shri K. Ravi to please come on to the dais for the welcome address. Please, sir.
Good evening to all of you. Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda, Honorable Member of Parliament and a good friend of ours. Mr. S. Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Boruka Power Corporation Limited. Mr. Bharat Sivappa, Director, Deloitte. Senior Vice President-elect, C.R. Janardana. Mr. M.C. Dinesh, Immediate Past President. Mrs. Uma Reddy, Chairperson of the Business Awards Committee. Mr. D. Muralidhar, Past President and also the Chairman of the Jury Committee. Dr. H.A.C. Prasad, Secretary General FKCCI. Past Presidents, Managing Committee members and members from the trade and industry. Members from the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for today's event on FKCCI Business Excellence Awards. I would especially like to welcome our chief guest, Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda, Honorable Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, who readily agreed to our request to come here to grace today's event of Business Excellence Award. We were actually planning to have our Honorable Minister, Mr. K.J. George, but due to some unavoidable circumstances, he was held up in Delhi, and his party man is here saving us today. He's here, and he very readily agreed. Sir, we are extremely grateful to you for having come over here at a very short notice. Today morning, Uma Reddy spoke to him and he's here. Sir, it's very nice of you to have come here, sir. Well, sir. Well, sir. I think Mr. K.J. George is your member, and I'm sure you have pitched in for him. And, sir, thank you very much for gracing today's event of Business Excellence Award. As you all know, Professor Rajiv Gowda is a rare combination of a well-known academician turned successful political leader. I always admire him whenever we see a television show when he is arguing on behalf of his party. I asked him, sir, how is it you are on a very weak wicket? In spite of that, you are able to argue so well. He said, well, that is my job. I have to do it. Whether personally I like it or not, he has to, and he does a very good job. I know many of the times these people have to argue, though it is not fair or though it is not right. I would also like to extend a very hearty welcome to Mr. S. Chandrasekhar, the Managing Director of Boruka Power Corporation Limited, for having readily accepted to be our guest of honor. Sir, welcome you, sir. We also have Mr. Bharat Sivappa, Director Deloitte, for being our guest of honor. It would be very pertinent to say that Mr. Bharat Sivappa has come forward to be our knowledge partner, pro bono. And all credit goes to Uma Reddy, who saw to that. Getting Deloitte pro bono is not easy. They charge you some few lakhs, but they were very, since this is the first time FKCCI is having this Business Excellence Award, we requested them that we wanted somebody as a knowledge partner, that they should guide us as to how to do it. In fact, when before taking over as the president of the FKCCI, I did some research as to what sort of awards we can have. As you all know, we have some of these awards like Export Excellence Award, and we also have sometime back Tourism Award. And we thought probably we should have an award where the award should be across the sectors, across the businesses, so that we can have a broader segment of awards being given. Keeping that in view, awards in Los Angeles Chambers of Commerce, San Francisco Chambers of Commerce, London Chambers of Commerce, all these chambers have these excellence or business awards across the sectors. Keeping that in view, we thought let us broad base these awards, and this is the first time we have introduced the FKCCI Business Excellence Award. And it was my choice to have Umar Reddy, because Umar Reddy has in the past also introduced many awards, and this is one. Thank you, Umar Reddy, for taking this initiative. A very warm welcome to all the award winners and my best wishes for a successful career ahead of you. I hope to see you excelling in your field. In fact, I was part of some of the jury meetings. I used to come in and go out because it's very tough to manage so many committees and also so many functions, since I'm laying down my office on 29th, and you know every day we have a function happening here. And Mr. Sampatraman and Mr. Muralidhar were very I would say I have gone through each of these award papers, the nominations very carefully, and I can tell you one thing: some of the award winners are really very good from the viewpoint of technology, from the viewpoint of new businesses. I think they really deserve a very good round of applause. As you all aware, this awards, this is FKCCI Business Excellence Awards 2018, is a token of appreciation to honor and recognize the exceptional entrepreneurs who have excelled in their ideas, innovations, and have inspired the organization in scaling up. These entrepreneurs are business personalities who are visionaries behind success and have put their effort in contributing to the economy. It is an attempt to honor the achievers, innovators, and leaders from various sectors. The FKCCI Business Excellence Award is a celebration of excellence. Winners are the true champions who make the difference. Well, friends, I just wanted to share a few thoughts of mine about some of the initiatives of FKCCI, particularly for those who are not aware. Tomorrow morning, we are going to have the Bhumi Puja there at Dobbespet. As you all are aware, about 1.6 acres of land has been allotted by KDB, and we are coming out with the FKCCI Center of Excellence for Skills. This particular skill center would be focusing on Industry 4.0 and also other multi-skill training activities. This is one initiative which FKCCI has taken up, and I'm sure the beginning will be there tomorrow. Another initiative which I would like to also emphasize to you is the Agri-Tech Cell. The Agri-Tech Cell again is an initiative to see to that all the farmers, the people in agriculture, are a part of FKCCI, and we have made it a point that these agriculturists should be trained, should be given awareness about the various technologies. Keeping in view, this Agri-Tech Cell has been opened, and I am very happy to inform you we did have a mango mela in the FKCCI premises to promote these agriculturists, and we also are having tomorrow promotion of grapes and wine. So we have a wine tasting event tomorrow, and those who have already registered can surely do that. These are all initiatives to improve or to help these agriculturists, and we are also thinking that this cell, since they do not have a GSTN number, we thought why don't we start having them as part of our cell with the PAN and PANI. These are two documents which they can give to the chamber, and then probably we can take it forward. This is another initiative, and as part of this we are also signing a memorandum of understanding with the Mango Development Corporation, the Wine Board, and also the Floriculture Department of the government. We would like to promote in all these areas. FKCCI would like to partner with them and see that many of our agro industries also are benefit to a great extent. Another point, we also had a visit to the Toyota factory to see about the latest assembly line and how the productions happen. And as part of FKCCI being a Section 8 company, it is very obvious that CSR is a part of our objectives. As part of this, we are for the first time again are going to have a CSR CSR conference and awards on 21st of this month. We are having about 35 speakers who are coming across the country, and this particular initiative would be the first of its kind for FKCCI to see that we can have an interaction as to what are the projects which are taken up by the corporates and who are the NGOs and what sort of projects they are undertaking. So these two aspects of, and we are going, FKCCI is taking the initiative to give awards to these corporates who have done well in the CSR realm. And this particular event will be held on 21st, and I would request members to please attend this particular event. And as far as the other flagship programs, we are having a tourism award on 27th, and 28th is our AGM, and 29th our elections. With this, this year will come to a close. I look forward for all your cooperation and see that we attend all these programs in the next coming week. So with these few points, I would like to welcome you all once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I would request all the dignitaries present on the stage to please come forward for lighting the lamp.
Namaskara. For the first time, I would say that we have organized this FKCCI Business Excellence Award. As a pivotal organization, FKCCI has been promoting and motivating industry and trade and MSMEs in Karnataka. So President FKCCI ideated to organize this FKCCI Business Excellence Award 2018 as an overarching award. We have in the past 3 years been conducting Innovation Excellence Awards, and I'm sure many of the awardees have also applied for Innovation Excellence Award at different times. And this we felt needed to grow, and hence the Innovation Excellence Awards as a success has paved the path for us to take it to the next level of this flagship event, the FKCCI Business Excellence Award 2018. And with this, we believe that we will move forward to greater heights in the years to come. This one-of-a-kind award ceremony was aimed at recognizing the spirit of excellence in MSMEs, which includes manufacturing, trade and services, including business growth, technology, innovation, financial management, marketing strategies, HR, people management, social directives, environment, and many more. The award per se assesses business growth along with innovative initiatives of an entity which has created a positive impact either to the enterprise, its stakeholders, its suppliers, its customers, its employees, its community around, and probably even to the government. A committee was thereafter formed, and it has been an honor that the President asked me to chair the same. Members of FKCCI Business Excellence Award Committee include office bearers, of course, past presidents Mr. Arun Kumar, Dr. Philip Lewis, Talam Venkatesh, Mr. Lakshman, Mr. Babu, Mr. M.K. Ramchandra, Mr. K. Ramaswamy, Mr. Shiv Shanmugam, Mr. D. Murlidhar, Mr. R. Purohit, Mr. R. Shiv Kumar, Mr. J. R. Bangera, Dr. Krasta, Mr. S. Sampatraman, MC members I. S. Prasad, Mr. M. G. Balakrishna, Mr. N. Satish, Mr. B. P. Shashidhar, Mr. Suresh Kumar, and government officials, Mr. H. Prakash, who was the then joint additional director DIC, Mr. Prabhu, who was the then managing director of VTPC, Dr. Karur, who took over from him as MD, Mr. Shiv Kumar, MD Kum, Mr. Ravi Kumar, general manager of NSIC, and Mr. Ranga Prasad, director of MSME DI. Can I request all of you to kindly raise a big round of applause to all of them? Can I request all the members to kindly raise, please? All the committee members of the Business Excellence Award. Please, a big round of applause to all the committee members, without whose thoughts and ideas we would not have been able to move forward. We were indeed very lucky and honored when Deloitte, especially Mr. Bharat Shivappa, readily accepted to partner with us pro bono for preparing the guidelines, the questionnaire, the direction, and the documentation for the FKCCI Business Excellence Awards. His team, including Dina and Partha, sat through this whole task of not only preparing the questions but supported us through the entire process of evaluation. Can I request Dina and Partha to please raise? They're here with us. I thought I saw them. Yeah. So a big round of applause to them. Believe me, the norms were very strict. It included audited balance sheets, a self-declaration, growth figures, to understand business growth, ROI, assets, profitability, technology growth. The whole thing was looked into by the entire Deloitte team and supported the jury in the evaluation process. We had received over 100 applications for this, and that was the first round when we sent it out as a Google form. We pulled it down to 83, which we felt that could go through. So these applications came from all the districts of Karnataka, which was scrutinized by the eminent jury whom I mentioned about. And our past president, Mr. D. Murlidhar, who is also the CMD of SNAM Abrasives and who has been the jury chairman for this, was part of the jury, and he kind of led the entire Mr. Prabhu, and then later on Dr. Karur of VTPC, Mr. Anil Upin, MD KCTU, Mr. Chandrapa, Deputy Director MSME, Mr. Prakash from DIC, and Mr. Srivatsan, DGM NSIC, and our own MC member, Mr. D. Suresh Kumar. This was the eminent jury that I am talking of. Can I request the jury members to kindly raise, and I request all the audience here to kindly applaud them for all their support. Bringing new products, technologies, services, enhancing competitiveness, improving efficiency by adopting technology, creating greener solutions and maximizing social benefits were some of the themes that were received. The jury perused the 83 applications, and believe me, it's a large binder that we have and many binders along with it, and 53 of them were shortlisted at the first stage. Our jury chairman, Mr. Muralidhar, will be getting into the details of the entire process when he speaks about the awards. We had a matrix of manufacturing, trade and service sectors, and within that we had a cross-section of sectors. We had electronics to engineering to automotive to food processing to agri to biotechnology. How do we actually compare? How do we normalize this? And that was the most difficult task that the jury members had to look into, considering the diversity of the applications that FKCCI received. How do we say who is the best, as parameters vary? So the jury chairman, Mr. D. Muralidhar, will share his thoughts later on this. The selected enterprises were then invited to FKCCI to make a final presentation in front of the jury members. This happened just last Saturday, and 16 best were selected. And out of this, we have 10 winners and 6 runners. And details will be shared as we go along. We kept it as secret as possible. All the other 37, believe me, were winners too. It was every company that was part of that 53 was a winner. It was impossible for us to actually select, because the number of marks between each hardly varied from 1 to 2, which means that it was a possibility. So, but when we had to limit our mementos or our awards, and hence we plan to give a participation certificate for the rest of the 37, and then we hope that we continue to have more of these award ceremonies so that everybody gets an opportunity. But it was, believe me, an awesome, inspiring experience personally for me and for all the jury members to listen, to peruse, and to see what kind of applications that have come. And it was a great learning experience to each one of us. This would not have been possible but for the support of all our staff, Mr. Umesh, Bhagyalakshmi and Nagraj, and at the nth moment supported by Tanushri, Vijay and Lokesh, overall taken care by our Secretary General Mr. Prasad and Mr. Lokraj. The FKCCI Business Excellence Awards 2018 is a token of appreciation to honor and recognize the exceptional entrepreneurs who have excelled in their ideas, innovation, and have inspired the organization, developing into a different level. These entrepreneurs are business personalities who are visionaries behind success and have put their effort in contributing to our economy. It is an attempt to honor the achievers, innovators, and leaders from various sectors. Today, we are proud and happy to recognize the can-do spirit of MSMEs and welcome you all to witness this great event. Congratulations to all the award winners. Thank you very much. I would also like to thank Vani, who readily accepted my request to render the invocation for this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. It was great for us also to assist you and understand the committees to go way forward. With this, I would like to call upon to the podium Shri C.R. Janardana, Senior Vice President-elect, to kindly come and introduce our guests of the evening. Please, sir.
I got a pleasant task of introducing Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Boruka Power Corporation Limited. Mr. Bharat Shivappa, Director, Deloitte Shared Services India LLP. Mr. K. Ravi, President. Mr. M.C. Dinesh, Immediate Past President. Srimati Uma Reddy, Chairperson, Business Excellence Awards Committee. Mr. D. Muralidhar, Past President, FKCCI and Chairman, Jury Committee. Dr. H.A.C. Prasad, Secretary General, FKCCI, and my beloved past presidents and members of FKCCI and Managing Committee members, distinguished invitees, jury members, award applicants, and friends from print and electronic media. Good evening. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce today's guest to you all for the FKCCI Business Excellence Award for the year 2018. First, I will introduce the professor. Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda is an Indian politician and academician. He is a member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha and a national spokesperson for the Indian National Congress. He also currently serves as the chairman of the Congress Research Department. He was a professor of economics and social sciences and the chairperson of the Center for Public Policy at the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and taught a range of courses. He served as the director of the Central Board, Reserve Bank of India. Professor Gowda was awarded the Bangalore University Gold Medal in Political Science and secured a fully funded scholarship to pursue Masters in Economics in Fordham University, New York. I request you to put your hands together for the gold medal which he has received. Professor Gowda holds a PhD in Public Policy and Management from Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania, USA. He was also a postdoctorate fellow in Law and Economics from University of Berkeley, California. Here I present Mr. M.V. Rajiv Gowda to this August gathering. Now another pleasant task to introduce Mr. S. Chandrasekhar. He is a Managing Director of Boruka Power Corporation Limited, a leading renewable energy developer in India, an electrical engineer and alumnus of London Business School. He has been associated with the power sector in India for over 30 years and has worked in several reputed companies, both public and private sector. He has hands and experience starting as a first-level executive in power projects to leading a greenfield company for development of green energy as its CEO for the last 15 years. Mr. Chandrasekhar was a short-term consultant to World Bank, member of Reuters Inside Community of Experts, Renewable Energy, and has made several presentations in national and international forum on the subjects of renewable energy, Electricity Act, carbon trading, regulatory issues, financing renewables, etc. He was a past chairman of Confederation of Indian Industry, that is CIA, Karnataka, and was also past president of Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce. He has served as a member of the Advisory Committee of State Electricity Regulatory Commission, board member of State Vocational and Skill Development Corporation, and also as a board member of the State Renewable Development Agency. I would like to present Mr. Chandrasekhar for this August body. Mr. Bharat Shivappa is a director, clients and industries leading marketing and business orientation functions at Deloitte, India. He is a master's in business administration with overall experience of over 16 years across telecom, trade and consulting industries, including past 10 years with Deloitte in India. He leads various market development programs at Deloitte and has supported various award programs like Karnataka Tech Fast 25 Awards in the year 2016, Lagu Udyog Bharati Awards, Technology Fast 50 Program, Growth Enterprises Program, EOTY Awards Program, IBC and Entrepreneur Awards Program, etc. He was also Senior India Advisor for Manchester Economic Development Agency, that is MIDAS. Here I present Mr. Bharat Shivappa for the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are very delighted to have the dignitaries on the stage, and they have made the presence over here to grace the occasion. As a token of appreciation and the love and respect towards them, we have we would like to present the mementos to our chief guests and the guest of honor and honorable guest. So starting off with our chief guest, Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda, I would request President FKCCI to please present the memento to the chief guest. I would like to request sir to please present the memento to Shri S. Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Boruka Power Corporations Limited. I would request sir to please present the memento to Shri Bharat Shivappa, Director, Deloitte Shared Services India Private Limited. Thank you. Having his association with the power sector for over 30 years and having been associated with World Bank and chairing co-federations of industry and Bangalore Chamber of Industry and Commerce, he is a man who have contributed a lot in power projects and green energy initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Shri S. Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Boruka Power Corporations Limited, while he addresses us all. Give him a big round of applause, please.
A very good evening. Chief guest of the evening, Professor Rajiv Gowda. Guest of honor, Mr. Bharat Shivappa. Shri K. Ravi, President. Shri Janardana, Senior Vice President elect. Shri D. Muralidhar, Past President FKCCI and Chairman Jury Committee. Shri Ms. Uma Reddy, Chairperson Business Awards Committee. Dr. Prasad, Secretary General FKCCI. Honorable Past Chairman of FKCCI. All office bearers. Applicants, winners, and ladies and gentlemen. I thank FKCCI for inviting me to this most important event, which is going to shape India in the future. While the award name is for business excellence, I think the way Ms. Uma Reddy explained about how they have gone about it, I think we should give FKCCI for the Business Excellence Process Award, because they have done it very meticulously. I mean, it's a pleasure to see how much effort has really gone into it. And it has not come a day late. In the current competitive environment, whether it is local or global, when prices are falling and input costs are going up, I think if you want to survive, there is no other way except adopting the best practices that goes to improve your performance. I am reminded of Professor C.K. Prahalad, which I am sure Professor Rajiv Gowda must be a great friend of his, and one of the apex bodies in the country did a paper on India at 75, which was authored by Professor Sri K. Prahalad, and he did it in the year 2007, and he called it India at 75 because he said what India needs to do for 2022, 75 years after the independence in 1947. That paper was very interesting. There were several discussions on that. Why I am touching upon that is, some of those things have gone into your award criteria. He stated three important principles, simple and powerful, for revitalizing India. He said that the aspirations should be much higher than the available resource. Then only it will lead to efficiencies. You can't have mediocre ideas and utilizing more resources to produce less and less wealth when the country doesn't go up. So he wanted in India in 2022, when we use less resource with more aspirations and better performance. The second thing he was talking about is fold the future in. He said incremental growth is of really no great use. You can't have usage of more and more resource, more and more people to produce more and more, because your productivity still remains the same or you are utilizing more. So he said you should learn how to use less resource for more production. So your productivity has to go up if you really want to be seen in the future. Otherwise the incremental growth, he said, is of no use. So better to adopt processes where there is a possibility of exponential growth. The third thing he said is focus on the next practices. We may have the past things, so many things going on, but he said no, you have to go to the next practices. In today's world, the next practices talks of anything smart, not only the people but technology, IoT, artificial intelligence. So many things are coming. There is always this fear of unemployment and underemployment because of these things. But I, as a technocrat, I always feel these are all unfounded fears. When you go into technology, there is more opportunities to grow in different areas. May not be in the area where you are, but for that you should not stop adopting technology. Otherwise, you won't survive the competition in the next 5 years of India. He also talked of several factors that would enhance the developmental context. Many of them are very interesting, but I picked up 3. One is shifting from low technology solution to universal access to high technology. That's what I talked about, whether it is the new age smart things or something, or more efficient processes and systems. It is no more to say that I will produce more or I will produce it with better efficiency and all that. He said the provisioning of products and jobs should be also going along with the ecological vitality. That includes environment, that includes, among other things, water usage, lesser waste, war on waste. You talk of anything, he says ecological vitality is key issue if you want to see that India is going to sit in the high table. And the third point was focus on governance. Everybody talks of governance, right from the Cadbury Committee report we have been talking of governance, and even today we talk of governance, and many of the companies have gone into that, but more needs to be done. I for one thing think that we have not reached a stage where we can compare ourselves to the governing systems of many of the corporations which are today very large. There are very systematic processes, integrity issues are inbuilt in the whole thing. And it was a sad affair that yesterday or in today's papers you read that in one of the biggest banks the CEO had to step down on governance issues. That speaks very ill about the processes that we follow. So the blame does not go only to the person, it also goes to the entire board, which should have had as a fiduciary responsibility, should have had the vision to see where we are going. So governance becomes a most key one. And the last one he told was the price performance envelope. You can price anything you want, but it should be within the envelope of performance also. You cannot divest between price and performance. You can make a one-time sale, but you won't be sustained. So a price performance envelope is crucial to achieving excellence. So the model sums up the next practices. Essentially, the whole context moves from the age-old shareholder value, which has been the key factor for a few years before, but not so now, where profit was the key. And profit is not the only thing. I always feel that profit should not be the motive for doing anything in a company. It should be there, but profit should be a fallout of the right things done. If you don't follow the right things, and if you make a profit, it is not sustainable. In the long run, you might have made a short-term gain, but in the long run, you won't survive. So, your profit creation, again, has to come only from the correct processes that you follow. So, this essentially takes us to stakeholder value creation. And stakeholder is not only the shareholder. It is your community in which you operate, the environment, our suppliers, our customers, employees, financing agencies, and of course the shareholder. Today when you see the number of NPAs in the banks, now what happens is many people have done that, but today the bank is holding a huge loss. Where will they pass it on to? It is coming to you and me, and the small borrowers like you and me, where the interest cost is high, or you are told you have to give this guarantee, that guarantee, that guarantee, whereas the horse has already gone out of the stable. So we have to be very good when we take money from the banks. We need to repay it because it's going to affect somebody else. They are also part of your business. So we have to see that sustainability is not only for environment. We have to also follow the framework of sustainable governance, and it includes all these items. Coming back, the growth of India, both in terms of employment and production, is the story of the MSME sector in India. This is the backbone and the bulwark of the national economy. It has provided resilience many a times to ward off global shocks and adversities. But somewhere in the mind of everybody, like we suffer that tag that green energy lives on subsidies. That's a wrong notion. MSMEs live on subsidies. It is not. It is not. That is a very wrong concept. The MSMEs today are mostly the working capital of the large organizations. They don't get paid. I for one is very conscious of that. In all the platforms I raise it, even in the industry bodies I raise it. I think if the large corporations pay their MSMEs properly, then they don't require any other thing. In time. While I may have a 2-month this thing, the MSMEs have a 9-month waiting time, 10-month waiting time. So who do you think is going to support that? So it is the responsibility of the large organizations to ensure that our MSCs get their right due. With around 36.1 million units throughout the geographical expanse of the country, today MSMEs contribute close to 33.4% of India's manufacturing output and 24.63% of the service GDP, and it employs more than 120 million people. and this is 10 times the organized labor in large organizations. So, but for them, employment will be much lower. But there is one more aspect to the MSME sector. They are also bridging the urban-rural economic divide, because 25 to 30% of the MSMEs are in the rural sector. So they are giving lot of employment out of the agricultural sector, whereas they don't get that right recognition. You simply label it as a backward district and give some SOPs, but then you find power fails 10 times a day, water doesn't reach you, and transportation is a problem, road is not proper. So a lot of things need to be done if we have to distribute wealth from urban to rural. We operate in the rural economy there, many of our stations in wind and there, but we find it is quite difficult, not easy. If India is to move forward economically, the growth of this sector is extremely important. At the same time, this growth cannot happen without adopting some of the principles enunciated by Sri late C.K. Prahalad. I am happy that one of the oldest chambers of the country, FKCCI, has taken upon itself the task of improving the MSME sector with some of the guiding principles of Sri C.K. Prahalad by instituting the Business Excellence Award. What does business excellence really mean? Such models are frameworks that when applied within an organization can help to focus thought and action in a more systematic and structured way, which could lead to increased performance. There are several models which could be put to use, and something can be created also, but in US one of the best models is called the Baldrige model. Even today it's one of the famous models there. Whichever model, business excellence focuses on leadership, strategic planning, customer and market focus, measurement analysis, knowledge management, workforce focus, social responsibility, focus on future, and of course business results. In business excellence, among the various components stated above, two factors contribute greatly in building excellence. The first is leadership. That is the foremost. And the second one is product and processes outcomes, which includes sustainability. While on the subject of leadership, it is one of my passionate subjects, I would like to touch upon an important aspect in business organizations. In India, and equally so in Europe and US, family businesses are a major contributor to the economy. While ownership share varies across businesses, in the MSME sector, it is predominantly a family-oriented management. There are several advantages in a family business, particularly in terms of passion, attachment. You want to get it done, some kind of a values you bring from your family side, etc. However, there are also several unintended factors that creep into the family business, which becomes difficult to control. The pressures could come from family members, younger generation, and consequently, a forced management based on ownership. Of course, there are several cases where the family itself has highly qualified person with the required expertise to offer their managerial talent to the family business. Such family-owned business definitely thrive. At the same time, there are many organizations, family-owned, which are not able to cope up with the internal pressures of family and the external pressures of competition. There was a substantive discussion in one of the case studies during my stay in London Business School. It was generally agreed that family businesses do very well in terms of growth and managerial talent up to a certain size. Beyond that, there is an inflection point which if not corrected could take the business downwards. That point is where the family needs to take a call. Either it could be dilution of ownership for business expansion or hiring of professionals with domain knowledge to tackle the external competitive environment. This is where the business excellence model helps. When we talk of leadership, we should be bold enough to analyze this aspect and take appropriate action. I understand from FKCCI that this year more than 100 organizations have participated in the award program, and several of them could come for commendation, and of course there could be winners. But I would like to emphasize one thing, that in the journey of business excellence, there is no loser. Even if you have not won a prize, you are not a loser. Every organization that has applied is already a winner for taking the first step towards making their firms an excellent organization of the future. If not today, they could be winner in the future. At the same time, whoever are recognized should not feel complacent. They should utilize this opportunity to institutionalize through monitorable processes their functioning in various areas so that business excellence is sustained. While parting, I would like to leave you with a thought. This was a comment made by Mr. Kenny Yap, CEO of Tuan Hu Corporation, Singapore, who was the first SME to win the Singapore Award in 2004. So his quote, "If you want to run a company that is sustainable beyond your lifetime, then yes, you should go ahead and adopt business excellence," unquote. Today, Tuan Hu Corporation is a listed company with a turnover of more than $100 million, specializing in export of ornamental fishes worldwide. And it is noteworthy that the company is a family-owned business. I congratulate all the participants who applied for this award and of course the winners. Wish you all a great success in the future, and I also thank FKCCI for giving this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your keynote address. Having an experience for more than 16 years across telecom, trade and consulting industries, he is acknowledged and have been awarded for his various strategic initiatives. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the dais Shri Bharat Shivappa, Director, Deloitte Shared Services, India Limited.
First of all, don't worry. This is just this thing that they shared. My speech is only a top left corner on this. Yeah, thank you. First of all, thanks for the wonderful introduction about me. To be very honest, I felt humble with every introductions, about the dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, of course. Yes, distinguished dignitaries on the stage and off the stage, all the participants, winners, and as ma'am says, all the winners, really. A hearty congratulations to all of you. And today, I would probably kind of spend maybe the next 5 or 10 minutes touching upon around 3 to 4, topics or thoughts rather. In fact, I had prepared, a good introduction and some series of thoughts, but Mr. Chandrasekhar actually kind of, gave a very, interesting, a comprehensive thought about how businesses should be managed in today's date, how a good process, good framework, risk and compliant way of doing business is very critical for be it a large corporate to a MSME. So he actually, I was just kind of dwelling with those thoughts when you completed the speech, and it completely, I need to now reload my previous thoughts. I'll try. So I really want to cover 4 things. Where I come from, Deloitte, a professional services firm, typically audit, tax, consulting, we love to talk about numbers. We love to talk about risk, compliance. If there's a new Companies Act, we say, yeah, hail to the regulator, because we get a lot of work to do, right? But today I want to restrict myself on four topics really. One is, appreciating the spirit of entrepreneurship, and how today empowering employees is very, very critical thing. Again, I will not well detail into this because it's covered in some form. How to embrace change in a digital world, and probably how to embrace disruption, and how innovation is a passé. When talking about spirit of entrepreneurship, I've been part of, luckily though I have a very small tenure of 16 years of experience, I've been part of various, entrepreneurship award program thanks to Deloitte. One of such was in the recent past I've attended in southern part of India again. I was part of the jury, and we were meeting a lot of, kind of inspiring entrepreneurs. In one of those discussions, I asked one of the entrepreneurs, what is a spirit of entrepreneurship for you, and what is the true recognition for you when you get motivated? And this lady at its late 50s, she says, look, I really kind of came to this award because this award doesn't really kind of, not just an aspiration of me as an individual or my business family. It's an aspiration of combined organization of people who work with me, all my stakeholders, business partners, vendors, and so on. But the real recognition, Bharat, that I get is when really, a small child of my employee, gets a new dress in his Diwali or any other festival that they celebrate. When, an employee can afford, ailing parents to take to a better hospital, or, provide a better education to his kids. Those are the moments it is a true recognition of my entrepreneurship. Today, to be very honest, I have a well to take care of my generation, maybe next couple of generations. But I'm still open to kind of spend my next one decade, working sleepless nights, because entrepreneurship is that, right? So, sleeping, waking up 10 more years, taking those risks to see these awards, coming to me every day. The smile that I get from my employees, the blessing that I get from my employees' parents, and those are the, kind of awards that I cherish the most. And that actually gave me, kind of a definition of what a spirit of entrepreneurship really is. Having said that, moving on today's age, we could give some thoughts on from outside in, right? We have never seen from an inside out running a business, but we get to work with, as part of Deloitte, a lot of companies such as yours. We see exciting transformational journeys, a lot of entrepreneurship stakes. But today's age, I think what is very critical, as we feel, to most of the entrepreneurship is, one is, empowering people, right? So today's days of age of scale, everybody is looking at, be it the investor or your stakeholders, is looking at the pace of your growth, how your business can expand. The scale has become one of the very critical components, whether you agree or not. Okay, so how do I scale up? You need a differential thought process. You need people to kind of take the role that an entrepreneur is today playing. So yes, a lot of things Mr. Chandrasekhar shared about having a strong governance, strong process, strong compliance will give you that confidence. But I think it is important that one is empower and enrich our employees, upscale them. Otherwise, what happens? You will embrace IoT, you will embrace robotic process automation. Your factory will be half run by machines, but you still have an opportunity to enrich your employees, upskill them so that they can deliver a high value, output for you, and thereby your organization grows. The next one point I want to touch was change. Now today it's an era of change, right? So innovation is gone, disruption is here. You must have seen an industry life cycle spanning anywhere between 20 to 100 years, and today we are seeing $1 billion valuation made in hardly 5 to 7 years. Yes, I'm talking about the new age companies like a Flipkart or Ola or Uber or Amazon. They have redefined the way growth. They redefined the industries. So do we have to embrace them? Do we need to kind of imbibe those those processes? May not be directly, but look at what is relevant to us and picking those host a lot of these digital labs. One of such recent labs, we had actually invited leaders, business leaders from large conglomerates, shared services, and large enterprises, come to a room, sit in a table, and discuss on a business problem. And all we gave to them is a young millennial, maybe a 20, 24 years old, who was sophisticated, technological knowledge, right? So who's a programmer, who's a media guy. We left them in a table to discuss on a business issue and find a solution. Trust me, it was a 2.5 hours workshop. I had at least a couple of tables coming out with not just a business solution, but also they created a product, an app that could solve a problem within 2.5 years. Because for a business leaders, it will take maybe 2.5 to 3 minutes to define a problem, and today's young generation can convert a problem into a solution in a couple of hours. And that's the power of technology. Now, are you embracing millennials in your organization? Are you building, room for thoughts, newer innovations or newer disruption rather? Is something a question that you need to ask yourself. And if you are not, I think it's time to embrace them. Time to bring the new thoughts. Otherwise, you will not have a magic like Colgate just by expanding the what you call that dispensing knob size. They increase their sales volume, and that comes from a shop floor employee, right? So that is the power of I would say empowering people, engaging people, and giving opportunities. I salute your spirit of entrepreneurship, and I've been on the other side as an employee, and I know the value. You bring happiness to lots of us, the employees, the vendors, the stakeholders, and provide real value to the economy. And on behalf of all that group, thank you once again and congratulations once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. An academician turned Indian politician and a spokesperson of Indian National Congress, he comes with a vast and dynamic knowledge in the field of economics and political science. His achievements and awards are remarkable in this field. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our chief guest of the evening, Professor M.V. Rajiv Gowda, while he addresses us all. Please, sir.
President of FKCCI, Sri Ravi, Sri Chandrasekhar, Managing Director of Gorkha Power, Sri Bharat Shivappa, Director Deloitte, Sri Janardhan, Senior Vice President-elect, Sri Dinesh, Immediate Past President, Srimati Uma Reddy, Chairperson of the Business Awards Committee, Mr. Muralidhar, Past President and Chairman of the Jury Committee, Dr. Prasad, friends. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. And as we were joking earlier, I accepted the invitation, very, very happily. But the reason I actually did that was partly because I actually had the evening free. But more than that, I've been wanting to come and engage and discuss various issues with industrialists and people who run organizations. The part of the job that I have as part of the Congress Party and as a member of Parliament, I head research for the Congress Party. So part of my job, there are many 3-4 dimensions of that job. One is to support all my colleagues in Parliament so that we do a better job, holding the government accountable. Another is to sort of attack the other side and to expose what's going wrong. And unlike Mr. Ravi's experience, where he thinks that I was defending things that were not strong or were somehow weak, I thought we are doing a very good job of exposing the hollowness of the track record of, I'll keep the politics out of it. Anyway, the other part is that, especially going forward this year, part of my responsibility is to ideate for the future. If you were to come and say, what is the Congress narrative? What is its vision for how it's going to take India forward once we come back to office in 2019? I have to play a role in making that come together. And in that context, consulting with all of you, actually coming here and learning the lessons that have been put into place by the innovators and others who are getting these awards, this is going to be good learning for me. And I've been a professor for many, many decades. But I'm always a student. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to grasp more ideas and to figure out how we can take that forward. And when I think about the Excellence Awards, my mind goes back to a very famous book called In Search of Excellence. This is from a different era. This is what Waterman and Peter, something like that. I'm trying to remember the authors. It is a very famous book which tried to showcase the patterns of behavior and practice that many companies that had achieved excellence had put in place. And the idea was that these would inspire others and promote excellence across domains. And one of the things that I would say right away today, we will be listing the award winners across domains as part of the award publicity. But actually on your website, it would be very good to have a write-up, maybe a few paragraphs, something like this, so that this competition and everything that came out of it is actually retained beyond just the jury members who came up, who had the chance to understand and to engage with this range of very, very interesting companies and their activities. But this kind of knowledge needs to be shared with others because it can inspire, it can trigger some kind of light bulb in someone's mind, and something very different and transformative could happen. So please do that. Well, when I think about what are the challenges we face, right? Each one of us have spoken on a different dimension, and for me, I pretty much look at all this from a policymaker's dimension, and that is that here we are in a country where there are large numbers of people emerging every month looking for jobs, and where are those jobs going to get created? We pride ourselves when we think about the UPA's 10 years. We often talk about how in 10 years we brought 140 million people out of poverty, right? That's a remarkable achievement. China is the only country that did even better in over a few decades. But when you actually look at absolute numbers in India, we still have more than 400 million people in absolute poverty. And if we have 10 lakh youngsters coming into the workforce every month, looking for jobs, wondering how to have a lifestyle that they see in the television ads or things like that, that mismatch between aspiration and opportunity becomes a very, very potent, incendiary possibility. People can, things can explode. And so it's extraordinarily important for governments and policymakers to think about how to ensure that the economy continues to grow. And we certainly cannot do it alone. We have to do it with industry, with entrepreneurs, with the value creators who are going to take the country forward, create those jobs, and transform our economic possibilities. There, we are actually entering a very, very challenging period. Over the last few years, we've been very worried about jobless growth, and we are concerned about the nature of jobs that are going to be created. And when we take a step back and we say, where are these jobs being created, we discover that the world itself is changing in amazingly different ways. If you think about what India needs to do, one of our problems is that about 50% of India's population still lives off the farm, while the share of agriculture in our GDP is down to below 15%. So a diminishing share of national wealth still has to be spread over about half the population. So this is not sustainable. We have, you will see migration to cities, you will see hauling out of villages, but most importantly, you will see a concern that there is a tremendous inequality and something needs to be done about it. So as we sort of look at all these kinds of changes, we start thinking about what are the business possibilities. And there are 2-3 other kinds of changes that we must, as a nation, engage with. Mr. Chandrasekhar hinted at some of that. One is how technology is changing the whole concept of manufacturing and everything else around us, right? When we think about 3D printing, we think about a different kind of factory, a different kind of output, not even a location which is centralized, but actually output that can be delivered where people are, customized to their own concerns, to their own needs. So we worry when we think about these kinds of changes in the structure of the factory Another feature, of course, is digitization everywhere. We have experienced, right, in our own lives over the last 2 decades, how the telephone, the mobile telephone, the smartphone is in most of our hands and is now a platform for us to engage with knowledge and ideas and services which we hadn't imagined before. The same digital technologies now are going to expand. You're going to have sensors in practically everything, and a lot of data is going to be generated, and things can be fine-tuned and delivered better. And you have a whole new set of business models that have emerged. One, of course, is e-commerce, which is challenging traditional retail and things of that sort. But also, what we are experiencing in the, say, in the taxi field, when you have an Ola and an Uber, which have reshaped a whole industry and even created a lot of new value and new jobs by basically using the smartphone as a as a method for for sort of creating value between people who want to travel and people who can take them from place to place in a safer, monitorable method. So these sorts of changes that are taking place are something that we must grasp. And when Bharat talks about embracing the millennials, the people who are digital natives, who understand how these technologies work and what kinds of possibilities might emerge from them, I think that's a very, very, very good point to make to all of you here. We can't just be thinking about traditional industries because you could get disrupted out of business if you're not keeping in touch with what's going on. So one of the things that these venerable veteran organizations like FKCCI can do is probably engage much more with college students, with youngsters, with various kinds of camps and hackathons and things like that, so that you sort of emerge, you engage with these youngsters and give them a platform to do things amazingly differently. I see my friend Muralidhar there. His industry is one thing. What his son does is something dramatically different in the domain of harnessing digital technology for value creation. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. We do need to engage with the next generation, and given the wealth of sort of business knowledge in the room, you could all play a huge role in creating new opportunities for not just the people you work with, but for India itself. Otherwise, we are facing dramatic changes globally. Some of those changes involve forces that might change the way we live entirely, and one of those is the issue of ecology and sustainability. We are worried about climate change, but in that worry is opportunity. So when you think about Mr. Chandrasekhar and his company and the work it does in renewable energy, there's a huge opportunity there. When you think about the Tesla motor car and electric vehicles and what you might see even here, there's a tremendous opportunity there. So, while climate change can really mess things up on a grand scale in terms of severity of storms, sea level rise, all kinds of problems, there is opportunity there which could result in a dramatic change in the nature of businesses and the kind of value that can be created. And of course, at the policy level, we see some other dramatic changes. The world had more or less settled down in terms of international trading arrangements. We had a WTO that was, slowly, making many international arrangements fall into place. But we have what are called black swan events. Some person with crazy ideas may get elected as president of the United States. When that happens, suddenly you discover that the North American Free Trade Agreement is in danger. The G7 is no longer going to sit there and work together the way it did. So we have no idea what the future holds in terms of the settled global trading arrangements. Well, this is an opportunity as well for us. It could be a cost if many of our youngsters who want to get an H-1B visa and work in the US, if they're forced to come back. But if you have such well-trained youngsters who have had a year or two's worth of experience, then maybe we should be, as FKCCI, facilitating their return and saying, all of you are planning to come back because you didn't get an H1, please get in touch with us and we will create opportunities with you, and we'll provide facilities here to do amazing things, right? So Okay. No, I'm just saying that there is opportunity in every challenge. Okay. And by the way, there's this strange coincidence that Mr. Trump and I have had the same education. I went to Fordham and Wharton, and he has had the same education as well. We're very that's where the similarity ends. But in any case, I'm just saying that there is a lot of change happening, unexpected change, and we need to start thinking about how we can take these challenges and turn them into opportunities. We don't have to stick with received wisdom. You know, we are very worried that China had that opportunity with manufacturing. They were able to do large-scale manufacturing, tremendous focus on exports, and they brought in hundreds of millions of people from the farm, turned them into factory workers, upskilled them, and transformed China from essentially a country that was not particularly wealthier than us a few decades ago to, you know, the world's largest economy today. But that moment in history may have passed, and we may not have that kind of opportunity. But again, if you look at India, and you look at our large domestic market, you look at the potential of our people in the service sector, there again, you know, maybe we will adopt a model which is very different from what China adopted, and we should be confident that we can go out there and make a tremendous difference. And see, that idea that we have something special in India, that we can do things differently, that's what C.K. Prahalad really woke us up to when he came up with books like The Fortune at the Bottom of the Pyramid, etc. He unfortunately died very early, but he was a truly provocative Indian management guru, someone everyone respected, and I just wish, and I did know him reasonably well, and he used to come to Karnataka and Bangalore probably in the early 2000s. I used to run into him here as well. So just an amazing, you know, it just opens your mind to possibilities, gives you the confidence to see the world differently. So that's the sort of thing that we need to do going forward as well, to think about how India and our models of development can be very unique and different, can be those that suit us, but will also enable us to take on the world in interesting and useful ways. And to do that, we need young champions, we need companies that are at the cutting edge, and that's what we have here today with all of them, all the companies here who have taken part in this award competition. Well, one of the other things that we're really keen on, and one of the things that I really want to continue engaging beyond this very short interaction, is job creation and the role of MSMEs. We are very, very concerned that, you know, the big factories and the big companies may not be able to do the kind of job creation that the country really needs. So how do we facilitate job creation with MSMEs? What can we do to make life easier for them? Not just the ease of doing business, but much else that needs to be put into place in terms of the overall ecosystem. There are public goods that the government provides, and what kinds of public goods do we need to bring in this digital era? What other kinds of investments do we need to make? What sort of hand-holding do we need to come up with? And, you know, the previous government under Sri Siddaramaiah had come up with a variety of programs to promote entrepreneurship, not just in the traditional IT, BT areas, but even what you might call, you know, naughty areas like, what shall we say, agriculture and things like that. And there were programs like Elevate 100, which took young companies and innovative companies and gave them investment capital. So those sorts of programs we must continue, we must refine, and think about how government can actually open up opportunities for various entrepreneurs across domains. So I was very happy to hear that FKCCI is doing work in agri-tech, in skill development. I'm hoping that you will invite me for that wine tasting as well. It may be a bit difficult, but let me see. Okay. In any case, but it's good that all those things are happening. And I'm certainly looking forward to hearing the announcement of the award winners. The various domains that have been chosen are very appropriate. I've already talked about the importance of sustainability, about MSMEs, and the other part that I saw mentioned in the categories of awardees, which is about companies that invest in human beings, in developing the potential of people. And that is again, an area that we need a tremendous because our people are our strength, and if we don't unleash that potential instead of facing or looking forward to a demographic dividend, we would be on the verge of a demographic disaster. But it is in our capacity, working together, building on this capital, the social capital that organizations like FKCCI bring, that we will be able to exchange ideas, bring people together, provide those networks that will enable us to take on the challenges of the future and certainly make India the champion economy of the 21st century. So we start here in Bangalore, in Karnataka, and I look forward to seeing who the winners are and to working with all of you to exchange ideas and to build a wonderful economy going ahead. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir. We now have our President-elect Sudhakar Shetty. Unfortunately, we could not make it. He could not make it to the event at the first part due to some urgent meetings. But then we welcome you, sir. Moving forward, I now request Ms. Uma Reddy, Chairperson, Business Award Committee, to introduce the jury committee.
I did the honors of introducing the jury committee, but I have the pleasant task of introducing our jury chairman, Mr. D. Muralidhar, our past president and whole-time director of SNAM Group of Companies, which has 5 manufacturing facilities across the world, and with a huge R&D center in Bangalore and also a manufacturing facility in Vietnam. He's an eclectic mix of being a chartered accountant and an MBA, and especially an MBA from IIM Bangalore. He's a cost and a management accountant, and he's been a member of many boards. Has been a board of governors of the Indian Institute of Management. He's been a past member of the State Planning Board, Government of Karnataka, and he's also been, of course, our past president of FKCCI, which we are so proud of. He's a great. He's also a chief patron for a free ladies hostel run by his family trust, which provides stay and food for upcountry girls pushing higher education in the city of Bangalore. But what's recently a covet is his Distinguished Alumni Award from IIM Bangalore 2017, and that's something we are so proud of. Can I request Mr. D. Muralidhar to, yeah, I couldn't find you there, as a jury chairman, to say a few words about the process.
Good evening to all of you. I thought Uma Reddy was my very close friend, but she gave me a chance to speak even for a couple of minutes after such fantastic presentations and thought-provoking talks by 3 eminent people here. It's really difficult to get the attention of the people over here, but still I try my best to finish this small talk of mine and not to stand between you and the presentation of the awards. We have come a full circle in the field of entrepreneurship when John F. Kennedy, in his acceptance speech when he became the President of the United States, he was the first President of the United States who referred specifically the contribution of entrepreneurs for the growth of the country. No other president in his acceptance speech till then had talked about entrepreneurship. So from there we have moved so much now, and today the position of President of the United States is being occupied by an entrepreneur. So it's really a celebration for entrepreneurship, I suppose. I think we should give ourselves a big hand of applause. Well, I don't want to quote the name of a great thinker. He specifically said about 2 years ago that world has to accept political leadership by great entrepreneurs. Even before that thought process started getting into the minds of many people, Trump came on the field and he won the elections. I mean, how appropriate that the spirit of entrepreneurship is taking the leadership by storm, and it is gaining so much of momentum, and it may not be long from now when we can see that many of the top countries of this world being headed by entrepreneurs and being in the position of making policies for the whole country. So friends, I think the phase we are now is extremely positive. The second point I would like to say is, being an entrepreneur in India, though is challenging, has tremendous amount of opportunities. Like, I don't think there is any other major economy in this world which is growing at 7.7% at constant prices. If you just factor in the inflation, it could be something like 12 to 13%. I mean, where an economy with a base of about $2.7 trillion is going at 7.7%, the kind of opportunities an entrepreneur can get is absolutely immense. And a World Bank study recently, about 2 years ago, put the maximum number of entrepreneurs in this world are in India. Of course, we have a big population, but the percentage of entrepreneurs in the world, which including small, medium, large, everything, I think we are leading the world in the number of entrepreneurs. So these are some good information I thought the entrepreneurs who are sitting here would like to hear and be happy about. You know, Mr. Chandrasekhar, my good friend, and of course Rajiv Gowda is also a very good friend of mine. They talked about business excellence and Baldrige model of business excellence, which is very, very popular across the world and which is adopted by many such institutions when they want to pick the business excellence awards. Was considered as a chairman of mine, I knew about this, but there are a lot of constraints for us because of the time, number of applicants, the size of the organizations. We were all, mostly the number of people who applied for our business excellence award were from medium to small scale industries. So the many parameters prescribed in Baldrige award process was a little difficult to fit in. Having said this, Deloitte, which came up to help us and do the basic work of evaluating the applicants, they put in a lot of effort. They came up with about 15 to 20 parameters which are very objective in nature, which generally covers most of the parameters which the Baldrige Excellence Award talks about, not in the same manner, but almost similar manner. Baldrige says it has given about 7 parameters, but Deloitte went on to add some more parameters, some more information, which fairly maybe there is an overlap of about 60 to 70%, and so I think we are slowly moving to that level of evaluation of the proposals. So, of course, Uma Reddy already spoke about the process, and she has. I don't want to repeat that, but because I'm the chairman and she asked me to speak about it, I have to go through this. We received about 100 applications, and from various sectors, various sizes, various ages of the promoters, various age of the enterprise itself. So first, Deloitte helped us to shortlist this information to 53 members. They had taken 75 marks for about 15 parameters, giving about 4 marks to each parameter. second round of jury meeting, and 8 jury members studied the whole synopsis report, and we came down to 16 shortlisted numbers. Well, I brought this, I would not have done so much of study even during my IIM times. This is the volume of the book you will realize was given to the jury. Probably they would have spent 2 sleepless nights going through the projects and trying to understand what they do, where they come from, how is the performance, and then it becomes really difficult. You get into your evaluation mode. When you get into an evaluation mode, you have to be constantly at the same evaluation mode to start giving the marks to different proposals. Otherwise what happens is, if you do some today and you give some marks and again you start it tomorrow, there is a disruption in your evaluation mode. This is what I think. So most of us, at least I sat at a stretch for about 6 to 7 hours, went through this and started giving marks to this. So I think all the jury members should get a Padma Shri for going through this. Then we called all the 16 members for a presentation. Of course, some of the jury members were not present, but some of us were present at the time. We went through the presentations. Again, we asked them the questions, whatever we thought were relevant, because the mix of proposals were such wide. You have somebody in biotechnology, tissue culture, somebody in signaling, somebody in automobile spare, somebody in digital technology. I mean, how do you bring all those things to one particular level of evaluation and start saying that who is better than the other? It's almost impossible. And even a jury member, the biggest constraint would be the domain knowledge. If there is somebody in a particular field, if we want to evaluate them, we must have the domain knowledge. But I don't think any set of jury can have all the domain knowledge required for evaluating all the proposals. But having said that, we tried to do our job very objectively. So finally we came up with 10 winners and 6 runners. In that we selected one particular proposal as the best, and then we brought it down and we are giving awards to 10 people and 6 people as a runner-up. Before we start sharing that, I would like to call upon the jury members who helped the whole process get this to this extent. My friend Mr. Sampath Raman, sir, please. He was one of the other jury members. Please give him a hand. He is a gold medalist in MA Economics. More than that, he has been running DPK Industries for the last 30 years, and very brilliant person. He's got tremendous amount of business sense. He can go to the bottom of the problem in a jiffy and know what is the critical area of the business, what is stopping them, what is pushing them, or what is pulling them. So thank you, Mr. Sampath Raman, for being with me on this. Mr. Prabhu is not here. Additional Director of Industries and Commerce, and his inputs were very valuable from a different perspective. He came to help us. Then Mr. Srivatsan, yeah, DGM NSIC. Thank you very much, Mr. Srivatsan. Your inputs were very valuable. He has seen hundreds and hundreds of industries in his time, and he is also able to put his finger exactly which is the industry which is doing well, which is a prospects, and which can be considered for this. Thank you, sir. Mr. Chandrapa is here. He is not here. He is the Director of Industries and Commerce. He helped us a lot, bringing his perspective to the whole evaluation process. Thanks, Mr. Chandrapa, for doing this. Mr. Anil Upin. Generally, the people in bureaucracy are not expected to know were absolutely, revealing to me. And Supin, really appreciate your contribution, sir. We appreciate this. He came on a holiday Saturday because normally, yeah. So because we sat there for a marathon session of about 6 hours talking to the 16 proposals. He was there, though it was a holiday for them. Of course, for entrepreneurs, there are no holidays. Mr. Suresh Kumar is here. Yeah. Thank you, Suresh. Good friend of mine. He is from Boruka Steel. He's a hardcore businessman. He has run a business for Boruka Group. So he knows the nitty-gritties of business, and he has been very, very helpful to us to bring his knowledge to the table. Thank you, Suresh. Last but not the least is Mr. Mahantesh Karur. He's not there. Okay. Thank you, Mahantesh. And I know he was instrumental in also giving us tremendous amount of inputs wherever we were trying to evaluate. He brought in his domain knowledge also and helped us in evaluating the process. So, friends, this in short is the process we followed. I know there could be some errors in our judgment, but sincerely we tried to be very, very objective. When you are evaluating such proposals, though we claim that we are very objective, subjectivity certainly plays a role. It all depends from what background you come, what kind of business you have run, where you have worked, what is your educational background, but that's all part of the whole process. So now I like to thank all the jury members, and I also like to thank Uma for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Uma. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Now we move on to our awards time. Of course, everybody is much waiting for the same. I am not hearing any voice. Yes, are we waiting for the awards now? Okay. I can understand. But there are certain, feedbacks, there are certain knowledge which we can always share when we are sitting in such a forum. So I think that also you appreciate. Yes or no? Yes. Thank you so much. So now we move on to the award session, and of course for us everyone is a winner, but we'll have to go category wise. We will start off with the runners up, and I would request the dignitaries or the delegates from the industry to please come on to the dais and receive the awards. So I'll start off with the first runner-up award, which goes to iTex Communications Private Limited. Give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Indo-Spanish Tasty Foods Private Limited. Indo-Spanish Tasty Foods Private Limited. Polydales. I request the delegates from Polydales to please come on to the dais. Jai Keshav Exports Private Limited. first in this category goes to Spectrum Industries. Dia Systems, Bangalore Private Limited. Dia Systems, Bangalore Private Limited. Carclo Technical Plastics Private Limited. Carco Technical Plastics Private Limited. Aditya Auto Products and Engineering Private Limited. Aditya Auto Products and Engineering Private Limited. Thank you to the winner 4 category, and we move on to the winner 3, and the first prize goes to Global Cyber Securities Response Team Private Limited. Global Cyber Securities Response Team Private Limited. Regeneresis India Private Limited. Varna Coats Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please motivate our winners with your claps, please. Varna Coats Private Limited. Thank you and congratulations to winner 3 category. We move on to winner 2, and the first prize goes to Pink Lemonade. Signaling and Transportations Private Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the winners, so request you to please motivate them with your claps. Give a big round of applause, please. The participation certifications and certificates, can be collected from Bhagya Lakshmi. Thank you so much, winners, and congratulations. Of course, this was not possible without the efforts of our jury committee, and we would like to acknowledge their effort for them. So, we would like to request our jury members to please come onto the stage, and we'll be presenting the mementos one by one. So, calling first Mr. D. Muralidhar, past President FKCCI and Chairman Jury Committee Business Awards. Please give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. S. Sampath Raman, past President FKCCI. Mr. Prabhu, Managing Director, Vishwesvaraya Trade Promotion Center. We regret because he's not present here, but of course the effort is always appreciated. We move on to Mr. M.N. Karur, Managing Director, Vishwesvaraya Trade Promotion Center. Mr. Anil A. Yubin, Managing Director, Karnataka Council for Technological Upgradation. We request the winners to please be here because we'll have a photograph session with you all, and after that the vote of thanks. Mr. D. Suresh, Chairman International Business Committee, FKCCI. Mr. S. Chandrappa, Deputy Director, Minister of Micro Small. Mr. Srivatsan, DGM, National Small Industries Corporation, KWS IDC Industrial Estate. Dr. H. Prakash, Deputy Director, Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Industry, Department of Industries and Commerce. Thank you so much, jury. Without you, it was not possible. I would now request Mrs. Vani Ravi to please come onto the dais. We would like to present a memento to her for her invocation. Please come, ma'am. Behind every success of the committee, there is always a leader. So we would like to acknowledge Uma Reddy ma'am for her support and also the guidance to make this committee work better. And today, this evening is possible because of her. Please give a big round of applause to her. And thanks for teaching us as well, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now I would
also like to say that all the others who are here who had applied for the award, the 37 of you, you're all winners too. No, we had to restrict it to 16, so please do collect your participation certificate from Bhagya, who is here with us. And believe me, it was a very, very difficult task for the jury, but you are a winner. That's all that I can say. I'd like to also take this opportunity to recognize Deena and Partha, who were both from Deloitte, who had supported this whole initiative. Can I request you to kindly come onto the dais to take a memento from us, please? They did all the numbers, they had to look at the evaluation, they had to develop the guidelines. Thank you, Deena and Partha, for your extreme effort in this. I'd like to request all the award winners to please come onto the dais for a photo op. And thereafter, we request all the other applicants also to come onto the dais. So first round with all the award winners, the 16, and then the balance 53.
Just give us 2 minutes. Let me thank each one of you for being here this evening. Sorry for asking you to be up. I know the enthusiastic is on. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sri Rajiv Gowda, Member of the Parliament of the Rajya Sabha. Sri S. Chandrasekhar, Managing Director, Baruka Power Corporation. Mr. Bharat Shivappa, Director, Deloitte. Our own President K. Ravi. My dear friend Sudhakar Shetty, the President-elect. Mr. Janardhan, Senior Vice President-elect. The person of the evening, the lady, Ms. Umarati, the Chairperson of the Business Excellence Award, Mr. Muralidhar, Past President and the Chairman of the Jury Committee, our Secretary General, Mr. Prasad, galaxy of past presidents, members of FKCCI, distinguished invitees, all the jury members, the applicants for this evening, and friends from the print and electronic media. Once again, good evening. It's my pleasant task, and I join hands with my President and all the members to thank each one of you to be here. My special thanks goes to Mr. Rajiv Gowda, who as you all heard from him and from our President, he readily agreed to be here this evening, and I think aptly the right man to be here, because he's going to be our voice when we think of having a lot more changes when it comes to this. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Rajiv Gowda, as the chief guest this evening. Mr. Chandrasekhar, the Managing Director, Baruka Power Limited, thank you so much, sir, and very well said in your speech today. Thanks. You have been the voice of the MSME. I think a lot of people would go with you. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together toward Mr. Chandrasekhar. Bharat Shivappa, I think you are the architect of this program. You designed it the way we wanted it, hopefully. Thank you so much for being part, and your initiative of being part of the FKCCI in the near future will take us in long run. Thank you so much for being here this evening. I would also like to thank all the sponsors, the Department of Industries and Commerce, Government of Karnataka, the Biotech, Technology Information Technology Services of the ITBT for their excellent support. It's also my pleasure, and on behalf of the President and all the office bearers and the members, would like to thank all the participants, and a special congratulations to all the winners. It's been a great time spending time with you, and I'm sure this evening is something which is going to be a beginning in the long run to come, and years to come we will follow up with these things. I also request the awardees who are here, who have now been a part of the FKCCI, would also like you to become members of FKCCI. Some of you are not members. Please become a part of the FKCCI family. We have a legendary 102 years behind us. So be a part of this legendary organization. I would again like to thank the past presidents, members of the managing committee, and all the people in FKCCI, the Secretariat and the invitees for the gracious present today. My special thanks goes to the President Electronic Media for their wonderful support and cooperation of this event. Once again, a special thanks to Umar Reddy, who was the architect of this program, for their excellent way the wishes. All the very best again, and also thank Bhagyalakshmi, the Secretary, for doing a great job, and all other staff for working hard to make this program a success. Thank you all for making this a very memorable evening, and gentlemen, all the winners, please come on dais. Let's have a picture with you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
We will stand backside.
Request all the other applicants also to please join us on the dais. Or I did say that. Are they here? Which participants? All the other participants, please can you quickly join us? Asha. Join us quickly. The other participants who had applied for the award, please join us quickly up on the dais. All those who had applied for the award, please join us quickly. Please come.